All right, today what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to factor. You'll notice that we have two standards that's going to be coming up. One is factoring polynomials, and the other one is solving polynomials. If you remember a while back, do you remember I gave you a worksheet that had just a bunch of X's on it? Do you remember that? Okay, and I had like 25 up here, and I had 10 down here. Do you remember that? And I asked you to come up with two numbers that when I multiply them together, I get 25, and I add them together, and I get 10. What two numbers would that be? 5. Okay, so I did 5, and I did 5, and so then I did 5 times 5 gave me 25, and 5 plus 5 gave me 10, and I said that this worked, and I was good to go, yes? Okay. Also remember, we had a chapter where we did the windows, remember that? And I would give you something like x plus 5 times x plus 5, do you remember that? Yeah. Okay, and I did x and 5, and I did x and 5, and I did x times x was x squared, right? And x times 5 gave me 5x, and then I had 5x, and then 5 times 5 is 25, and then that middle term was 10x. So my answer was x squared plus 10x plus 25. Do you remember that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we did a lot of that, and remember I did the x's after one of the tests, and I'm like, okay, remember this because it's going to come back later. And then remember when I multiplied, I said, remember how we do this because it's going to come back later? Okay, today what we're going to do is we're going to bring it all together. I am going to give you this answer, and you are going to come up with that. And it's called factoring. And the reason why we use it is it helps us solve quadratic equations. And in a couple of days when I bring it all together, because you know how I like to do a little bit here and a little bit here and a little bit there, and I bring it all together and I'm like, I'll show you, and you're like, no way, like that's so awesome, why didn't you do that before? You're going to have that ha-ha moment again, and you're going to have an extra cool tool for your tool belt. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at our notes for today. Notice that it asks us to factor, okay? Notice that they gave me this here, okay, and notice that we put it as a diagonal. Do you see that? Okay. All right. Also notice that they gave me the x. Did you see I got the product thing? I got the product and I got the sum. Do you see that? Okay. So now I'm going to show you where those numbers come from. So first of all, to get 16, there's a number in front of the x squared. The number is 1. Do you see that? So if I take 1 times 16, that gives me the product of 16. So what we do is we take the a term and we multiply it by the c term. Now the sum, see that 10 down below? I'm going to take this b term right here, and that becomes the sum term down below. So this is the b term. So I'm actually going to use that x stuff that we did, that was like kind of a fun exercise, and we're going to actually apply it to doing this. Exercise, get it? Next. Okay. That's good. So what two numbers, when I multiply them together, will give me 16, but when I add them together, they give me 10. 8 and 2. 8 and 2. Okay, let's see if that's true. So I'm going to go 8, and I'm going to go 2. And if you remember, I always had to kind of show my work, didn't I? So I'm going to go 8 times 2, that gives me 16. Yep, that's good. And then I go 8 plus 2, and that gives me 10. Yep, so those are the right numbers. And I remember some of you doing it going, why am I doing this? This seems really stupid. Like it's just a bunch of X's on this sheet of paper. Okay, now we're going to see how this applies. Right? I'm going to take a look now at my boxes here. And I'm going to take the 8, and I'm going to put it in this box box, I'm going to make this 8x. So again, I took the 8 from my x exercise and I put it in that box. Now, I could have taken the 2 and put it in that box and it would have been just fine, all right? Now, in the other lower left box, I'm going to put 2. Now again, that could have been an 8x. So I can flip-flop those boxes. It doesn't matter what order I put them in. We okay so far? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work backwards. What times what gives me x squared? X times x. Okay? And you're going to notice it's kind of like that lattice stuff that we're used to. X times x gives me x squared. Okay? X times what gives me 8x? 8. So I'm going to put an 8 up above. X times what gives me 2x? 2. And you're going to notice that 2 times 8 gives me 16. So I'm just working backwards a little bit. And if you know how to do this, it's not that hard. We're just putting all the pieces together. Now here's my answer. Up above, I got the 8 and I got the x, right? So I'm going to write x plus 8, and I'm going to put it in parentheses. And then I got the x and the 2, and I'm going to go x plus 2. And you just factored. Now, I could write x plus 2 and x plus 8. I could multiply those that way. So it doesn't matter what order you put them in. It could be x plus 8 or x plus 2. It doesn't really matter. Okay? Yep.
It doesn't matter with the 8 that you have it, like which side we're, like if the 8 sets up what you know.
Oh, well, it depends on, she's asking on the left-hand side, does the 2 have to be there? If you put 2x in the lower left-hand box, it has to be 2.
No, like if, say the 2 and the 2x.
In the x, you can flip-flop these.
No, on the top. Yeah. In the
Here?
diagram, yep. If that.
These two can flip-flop.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, the green, the 2x and the 8x in the boxes, they can flip-flop.
Okay, that's what I meant.
No, no, you just have to flip-flop the 2 over to the outside. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's keep going. So this is going to be more like your assignment. They're going to give you a problem, and you're going to write an X, and you're going to write windows, a 2x2. And in fact, a lot of kids will set this up, and they'll do it in pen. Just because if they make a mistake, they'll be able to erase, and it's not that big a deal. Okay? So the first thing that I would do is I would take this problem, and I would write it in my windows. Now, there were quite a few people that when they multiplied it, never did that middle term. Well, one of the reasons why I had you do it, remember how I made you do it? And you're like, I don't like to do it, you can't make me, was because I knew that factoring was coming up. And I knew you needed to write that stuff in, so that made more sense too. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my x. Okay? And I'm going to multiply the 1 and the 6. So I get 6 up above in my x. And underneath I'm going to put what? I'm going to put -5 because my b term is -5. Now what two numbers, when I multiply them together, will give me 6? And if I add them together, they would give me -5. Yes?
-2 and -3.
Okay, she thinks it's -2 and -3. Let's take a look. -2 times -3 gives me 6. Okay, that's good. -2 plus -3 gives me -5. Yep, those work. That's good. So really what that X does is kind of our like art class. You know how you kind of had a palette off to the side and you'd grab a little blue and then you grab a little white and then you might add a little orange and you kind of mix it and look at the color. That's kind of what the X does. It helps us get the numbers in our boxes. Okay, now let's take a look at our boxes. In the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to write -2a. Again, I could have just shows it there. Lower left-hand corner then would be negative 3a. And what kids forget is that a. That's what they forget. They forget to put that variable. Yeah, or put x. Don't put x because it's a. Okay, now let's go ahead and try to solve this thing. So what times what gives me a squared?
No,
A and a. And then we're back to the lattice stuff, aren't we? A times what gives me negative 2a? Negative 2. Notice it goes up above that box. Okay? Because a times negative 2 gives me negative 2a. Okay, a times what gives me negative 3a?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Again, negative 3 times a gives me negative 3a. And does negative 3 times negative 2 give me positive 6?
Yes.
Yes, it does. So I know I'm good. So one of my answers is going to be a minus 3 and
A minus 2.
a minus 2. Now again, it can also be written as a minus 2 and a minus 3. And that's it. That's that. It does get more difficult. It does get more involved. That's what we're doing so far. Okay, we got a couple more to do. Let's do this one. I'm going to write my answer in my boxes. Okay, what do I put in the top of my X? Negative 10. What do I put down below?
3.
What two numbers?
2 and negative 5. Be
2
negative
times negative 5 gives me negative 10. 2 plus negative 5
Negative 3.
gives me negative 3. Is that okay?
No.
No, it's not. So I did something wrong. That's okay. That's kind of a good thing to try. Okay, that didn't work. So now what do I do?
Make the 2 negative and 5 positive.
Okay, so make the 5 positive and make the 2 negative. So 5 times negative 2, that gives me negative 10. And 5 plus negative 2 gives me 3, so that works, doesn't it? Okay, so I know that's good. Make sure you show your work, because you'll notice how it felt pretty good. But then when you did the work, you found out your signs were wrong. That's okay. There are other ways to do this. This is the best and tends to be the easiest for kids to get. Okay, now I got to do my boxes. What do I want to do for my boxes?
5y.
5y,
Negative 2y.
negative 2y. Does it matter where they go? Those two could flip-flop, couldn't they? But they got to go in that spot. Okay? What times what gives me y squared? Y and y? But why? What do I multiply out by to get 5y?
5.
Y and 5. Okay, y and what gives me negative 2?
Negative 2.
Okay, and negative 2 and 5 give me negative 10. Yes, double check that. Don't assume that it's good to go. So my answer is y minus 2 and
y plus 5.
y plus 5. Or y plus 5 and y minus 2. Now, one thing to be careful for, and I have kids do this, so I have that answer, this is what they'll do. They'll go, well, can't I do this? Can't I go y minus 5 and y plus 2? Can I do that?
No.
No, because 2 has to be negative. So that doesn't work. The 2 has to be negative and the y and the 5 has to be positive. Questions? Okay. Go up. I want you to do this next one by yourself. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. See if you can do it by yourself, and then we'll get back together and we'll see what you got. trouble with the x and the math that goes with the x, what you could do is go back to the x worksheet that we did in class. And if you want an extra copy to practice, let me know. I've got several x worksheets that you can practice. Okay. Think of multiples of 24. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. And you can even write them down. I have a couple of people, you're struggling a little bit with that. You know that negative 24 goes here and 2 goes here. If you're struggling with that, you know, 1 times 24 is 24. 2 times 12 gives me 24. 3 times 8 gives me 24. 4 times 6 gives me 24. Okay? 5 times something give me 24? No. Okay? So if you do it that way, that might make it a little bit easier for you. Okay, let's look at this. What two numbers, when I multiply them together, is going to give me negative 24 and add them together and gives me 2? What do you think? Negative 4 and 6. Okay? Negative 4 times 6 gives me negative 24. Negative 4 plus 6 gives me 2. So those times where you're like, oh, I'll never have to use my facts ever again. You do. Alright, so I know that works. I'm going to put z squared here, 2z, negative 24. What do I put in the boxes? 6z and negative 4z. Does it matter where I put those two? And we can flip-flop them, can't we? Okay, what times what gives me z squared? Z and z. What times z gives me 6z? What times z gives me negative 4z? And does negative 4 times 6 give me 24? It does. Okay, so now I'm going to look at my answers. Z plus 6 and z minus 4, or z minus 4 and z plus 6. Could the 6 be negative? No. Can the z, or can the 4 be positive? No. So you could see it either way, and you're going to realize that that's the correct answer. Okay. Questions on this? Okay, that's our basic factoring for today. Okay, we'll do part 2 another day. We're not going to do it today.